All right, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to the Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith. How is everybody doing today? I just figured I would. No, not that one. There we go. Hopefully, everybody can hear me a little bit better on that one. Uh, just figured we'd drop in for a morning show, just a little bit of that, just to since I missed last night. Also, we're going to be opening the phone lines today, or well, this morning. So there is that. Hopefully, everybody is having a happy Thursday. Also, we've got Thursday night football tonight. Just some of the things going on this evening. We'll look at the scores from last night because I know everybody's dying for that one. Let me go ahead and throw the number on the ticker so we can get that established so I don't forget about that. So there is that. Getting that done. There we go. The number is on the ticker below. Appreciate everybody joining in tonight, or well, not tonight. This morning we're going to be back with you. We're going to be back with you this evening. Hold on, I'm getting this. Getting the link retweeted. But how is everybody's Thursday morning going? That's kind of how I'm looking at it. Getting it in there. I know kind of crashing and burning right now, but thought we'd get that out there. But on some other news, Jeremiah Love, almost said Jeremiah Smith. That would have been interesting. But Jeremiah Love inks a NIL deal with Samsung. So good for the kid. I think that's kind of one of the deals that kind of happens with this day and age with the NIL stuff. Not really shocked that he would get a NIL deal out of this whole thing going on, especially being at Notre Dame. That's just what happens when you're, I guess, at a premier program. A lot of these major brands, somebody that's on TV every week, that has a lot to do with it. It's a lot of brand exposure. So there's kind of that. We're gonna get into the Belichick stuff here soon. I know that's why it's on the thumbnail, but we're gonna run over some other topics real quick. Let me get this up. We'll dive into the Kurt Cignetti versus Dan Lanning. Since Cignetti's been at Indiana, he's 35-6. Lanning is 40-6. I'm assuming they're going off his career win percentage, so there's kind of that. That's what it is. Nothing shocking, kind of, in my opinion, on that. Cignetti, like he says, Google me, I win. So there's that. I think it's going to be a good game. I'm hoping for a good game. It's going to be on the live stream tonight, or not tonight, on Saturday. We're going to be streaming that 3:30 East Coast time. Indiana, Oregon. We're going to be doing that live stream. Also, we're going to be doing the Alabama, Missouri. So we're going to have that going on Saturday, Alabama, Missouri. We're going to cap it off with the Auburn, Georgia game. That's going to be going on. So there's that, but also I find the Indiana Oregon game really fascinating on how that is going to pan out, to be honest. So there is that angle of it. So we'll be looking at that, and then pretty much the back part of the show, we're just going to break down the Belichick thing, and also tonight we're going to be live. We're going to be live at 7:30. Back at it. My guy Richie, been a contributor at the show for a while now. He's going to be joining the podcast. He's had some things going on, so there is that. Also, the number to call, 260-255-4069, if you want to get on some of this Belichick stuff. Here's the matchup for Oregon, Indiana quarterback comparison. Mendoza 73%, Moore 74%. I don't think there's really anything to get too super excited about. I mean, the numbers for both guys look great. A lot of people want to talk about both schedules. We're gonna see. We're gonna find out Saturday whenever those guys tee it up. That's just kind of the way I'm looking at it. I think that, whenever they tee it up, it's just we're gonna find out, is Indiana for real? I went back and forth with this with people for a while, whether Indiana's good or not. Are they a good team? Because at the end of last year, it came down to the Ohio State folks pretty much said Indiana sucks. They're nothing about Indiana. Indiana is a mid-tier program or a cellar dweller, blah, 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 blah. You heard all that stuff. So when Ohio State beat Indiana, and then Ohio State turns around and loses to Michigan, and they needed resume builders, it was, well, we beat a top 10 team, Indiana. Whoa, timeout. You're not gonna discard them after you beat them and then try to pick them up again and say, look at who we beat. I'm not allowing that to happen. I get it. Ohio State won the national championship. They were the best team in college football, but there comes with a little bit of pride there on some level of it, just for the simple fact of you're not going to pick and choose. I'm not a person that's going to allow people to pick and choose on certain things. That's what it comes down to. We'll go over here to the playoff bracket. This is bracketology via Andy Staples of On3. Ohio State, yeah, they should be the number one team. I would put Miami number one, in my opinion, because Texas is unranked now. So there's that. I think Miami's number one. Florida beat them, and we've seen what Miami did to Florida. So there's that. Although, love the fellas down in Gainesville, Billy Napier. I think the Florida fans are going to get super pissed when he don't get fired, but that's just my opinion. But Staples has Ohio State 1, Miami 2, A&M 4. I find that fascinating. So that means Texas A&M is going to win the SEC. We'll see. A&M is normally 8-5. We'll see how the Texas A&M folk shake out on that. But Oregon 3, don't disagree. Although I don't know how you can put a team that doesn't win their conference as getting a bye on the 3 seed, but that's very, very interesting to say the least. But there's that. Ole Miss in the mix, Georgia Tech, Memphis. Although Memphis has to go through Tulane, so there's that. Indiana at the number 5. I think if Indiana beats Oregon, you could flip-flop that. Alabama, Texas Tech, Georgia, OU. I think the big thing is, and the first 4 out are Missouri, Tennessee, Michigan, Notre Dame. If Michigan doesn't lose again and they went out, Michigan is in the playoff. If Notre Dame gets to 10-2, they'll be in the playoff. We'll find out everything we need to find out about Missouri. If they lose to Alabama this weekend, if they get blown out, which we'll be streaming that live at noon East Coast time for some of you people out there watching. We'll have that. And then Tennessee can't get the third loss. That's going to be Tennessee's big issue. Tennessee can't take a third loss. I think, in my opinion, if you can't win your conference championship, it's very, very, very interesting. Pete Nakos just dropped something that's interesting. We'll get to that in a minute. National championship odds. Anybody shocked here? I don't think so. I don't think anybody's really shocked. Ohio State's the front runner. Alabama in there. Vegas likes Bama. I get it. Get rid of that. And then this is the preseason poll. Ohio State goes from 1 to 3, unranked. 3 unranks there. Notre Dame was 6. Now they're 16. Not a whole bunch. Miami got disrespected. The biggest thing that Neil McCready said on MPW Digital, that Ole Miss needs LSU to keep winning. I kind of agree with him on that one. But on this, Pete Nakos just tweeted from Pete Nakos from On3. Sources tell On3 that Bill Belichick was working the phones late last night into Wednesday night, speaking with North Carolina recruits, addressing any questions they may have. Tar Heels practice Wednesday afternoon ahead of a visit to Cal on October 17th. So, leads me to believe that everybody that is committed to North Carolina right now must have they must be using that in negative recruiting, kind of, in my opinion. It is, I mean, I think it's funny that they would have to go out on a limb and completely address this kind of like it is, but that's what recruiting is, really. I think that North Carolina really didn't know what they were getting into when they hired Belichick. I didn't think that they were on top of the Jordan Hudson stuff. I don't think that they were the legendary coach is what it was. But more on that in a minute. Nico, Carson Beck, Justice Haynes, as you can see with the graphic, transfer portal impact players. I would say that that's kind of what it is. Although good to see Mitchell Meldon on there. Wasn't good enough, I guess, to play at Ohio State, but he makes that list. Very interesting. Also, one thing that I do want to address, the NCAA tournament executives are inching closer to an agreement that will expand the NCAA tournament to 76 teams with a 12-game opening round played at two sites starting in 2026-27. There's a reason for that. The NCAA has to create a new block of games for the TV people. That's kind of what they got to do to make more money, to be honest. I'm sure people are going to call it soft in the trophy thing, but it's all about dollars and cents as we trend forward in this new NIL space. That's just kind of hindsight 2020, but I don't think people are really looking into it like they should, because they got to create a new space of games. Here we go. Big noon kickoff. Ohio State, most appearances on Big Noon kickoff 24, Michigan 18, Penn State 11. Nebraska, Oklahoma, and Colorado. That's Fox thinks they know what they're doing, but I'm just telling you, I think Fox is going to fly her into a territory they can't get out of, and it's not going to be pleasant for the folks at Fox. I'm just kind of saying that's just my opinion, but I don't think it's going to pan out well for them at Fox if they keep messing with the TV stuff, in my opinion. Also, there is that, and then the matchups for this weekend. Week 7 matchups. I think the heavyweight fight is Oregon, Indiana. To be honest, that's the heavyweight fight, followed by Alabama, Missouri, which we'll be streaming. We'll be streaming that. We'll be streaming Indiana, Oregon, and then we're going to cap it off with the night game that is Georgia at Auburn. We'll be going over some more of this stuff on the late show when I got Richie on, but Texas, Oklahoma, kind of a big old flop, in my opinion, Texas and Oklahoma. There's that. Texas is unranked, started out preseason number 1, total complete failure. Sarkisian, he loses this game. Texas will be on quit watch. I would not be shocked if they have a ton of kids opt out and get in the portal, to be honest. So there is that. LSU taking on Lenore Sellers down in the Bayou. It's an SEC game. The SEC last week and this week are kind of light, in my opinion. And then for the Big Ten folks, a lot of people that live in the Midwest that are Michigan fans are all amped up for Michigan at USC. There's been a little jawing back and forth between Lincoln Riley and Sharon Moore. Sharon Moore claims that it's only a sellout at the Coliseum because Michigan is coming, and basically Lincoln Riley says he can say whatever he wants. We're here to play football games. Lincoln Riley is big on the, I have a, what is it, $70 or $80 million buyout. So there's that. And I never really watch the morning shows on the network, but they have Taylor Lewan and Will Compton, and they have Josh Pate on. Wow. That is fascinating. Taylor Lewan's on ESPN, but whatever. But we will get to the topic du jour. We'll talk about it. They are talking about, is James Franklin's job in jeopardy? Will Pint, he's got a $60 million buyout. That's what that is in the age of revenue sharing. Don't know how many people are going to be moving off of that one. But I guess, what do I know? But let me get to what I was getting to here. There it is. North Carolina, if I could speak, North Carolina season-long documentary no longer happening. I guess they have pulled the plug on that. I'm assuming it's on the Belichick side of things, Jordan Hudson, because she's running the program. I know some people would probably disagree and say she's not, but also they have pulled the plug on that. Why would you pull the plug on it? Deion Sanders didn't pull the plug on his documentary that was going on whenever he was going 4-8. Deion didn't pull the plug. One thing I will give him, did not pull the plug. So there is that. So we shall see how that is gonna pan out. Also, Pete Thamel, breaking news by Pete Thamel, just reading Twitter, just simply reading the news. Pete Thamel, West Virginia is going to add 140 new scholarships starting in 2026, 2027, including 16 new football scholarships, 124 in Olympic sports. West Virginia's Board of Governors voted in September to be among the top funded schools in the Big 12, aka Big 10. West Virginia, where you at? That is basically all that's saying. Big 10, SEC, where you at? So I find that very fascinating. So there's that. Thamilto tweeted that. I think West Virginia's probably got some coin. There's that, in my opinion. But we will get into what it's been looking like for Belichick. Obviously, they had the opening night. They went down, scored a touchdown on the opening night against TCU, and then that was that. So I find it interesting that they're out there trying to scramble in I find it interesting that they're out there trying to scramble to get the recruits on the phone, what it's looking like for them. I wouldn't be shocked. I just throwing this out there. I wouldn't be shocked if you wouldn't see North Carolina come up and end up with some decommitments coming forward. I just think that everything that's gone on, I'm pulling up their recruiting ranking. They're fourth in the ACC. They've signed 10 4-stars and 26 3-star recruits. I think it'll be fascinating. Maybe this is the biggest hoax ever. I don't think, but they're not good this year. North Carolina, not very good. Do I think they'll get to a bowl game? Well, we'll take a look at the schedule here for North Carolina. They end up having the stinker against TCU. You got that stinker. You beat Charlotte. You beat the hell out of Richmond. You get your ass kicked against UCF. Clemson, they could have scored 100 on you if they wanted to. Now you got to go clear across country to Cal with a bunch of 18 to 22-year-olds. I don't know how they're going to handle that. And I think that's a Friday game, even though you're coming off a bye week. Then you have a ranked Virginia. Don't know when the last time you could have said that, but Virginia being a viable candidate. And then you got to go to Syracuse in the Carrier Dome, go see Fran Brown. I think his kids are going to play hard. Then you have Stanford coming to town. You might get that one. I think you'll get that one. Wake Forest, I think that's a coin flip. I think Manny Diaz is going to beat the dog shit out of you. And then you end it with NC State. Dave Doran, I think they have a competent program there at NC State. I don't think it's living up to what their fans' expectations are, but that's just kind of how it is. But also, I would like to take a minute. ESPN, out of the midst of everything that's going on, which I think the Belichick thing is way more fascinating than everything that they're talking about. They are up in arms right now, having a whole segment on Arch Manning. Like, does anybody find that just odd? Like, they are just all over the Arch Manning thing. I don't get it. It's like, am I missing something? Like, I get, he's a Manning, he's all of that, but that's just kind of what it is, to be honest. But yeah, it's. I think the Arch Manning stuff is just so overblown. I don't get it. But I guess I'm probably a small mind in that aspect of it. But I just thought I would give my thoughts on it. That's pretty much it. To a certain extent, I will leave the stream up for a little bit. As I'm looking at this, we'll go over some other topics. But the number to call, 260-255-4069 if you want to get your call in. But there's that. I'll leave it open for a little bit. We'll see where we're going. But normally I don't do a morning stream, but I kind of ripped everybody off by not being able to stream last night. Just kind of what it is. But we'll be back tonight. My guy Richie will be joining the program. That's just kind of what it is. But whenever you're a one-man band, things don't always work out like you want them to. But just looking at some things here, I'm sure there'll be more news that will pop off in between now and then. But I guess I figured I would get one in the morning. It's probably, oh boy. That is very interesting. Don't know if I want to bring that up. I'm sure. Where's that at? Oh, what's the Dellinger thing? College Sports Commission, Ross Dellinger throws this out here. This will be the last thing, and then I guess we'll end it. No North Carolina fans want to jump on in, but I get it. It's early in the morning. We'll probably open the phone lines later tonight as well. Ross Dillinger tweets, P4 schools having yet to sign the infamous participation agreement that would bind them to the CSC rules and penalties. One league is delaying as it is against a postseason ban, thrusting enforcement into no man's land. That's interesting. Yeah. I guess it's that is posted on 3. I'm going to assume it's probably Michigan or a Big Ten school. Have to be. Because now that you can pay kids, it really puts a big old damper on the Big Ten narrative. But I guess that's where we'll leave it. Appreciate everybody who tuned in. This show will probably be a flop since it was at 9, but we are going to get back here tonight and then Friday, and then we will be live again Saturday. 4 shows on Saturday, 4 separate shows. We're going to be live. The plan is to be live at about 11:50, Alabama, Missouri. Then we're going to hop over to Indiana, Oregon, and then we're going to hop on to Auburn, Georgia, and then we're going to have the Auburn, Georgia post-game show, which it'll be, if you call, it'll be whatever you want to talk about. So there is that. But I guess that's it for this morning. We will catch you guys tonight. Everybody hit that like and subscribe button. I appreciate if I could enunciate this morning, I appreciate everybody. So there is that. But we'll see you guys tonight. Have a good day, everybody.